The suitcases sat by the door. Four of them, packed. Catherine Morrison stood frozen, 6 months pregnant with twins, staring at the end of her marriage. Her CEO husband was leaving. For a 24-year-old Instagram model, he'd already filed for divorce, frozen her bank accounts, left her with nothing. $200 to her name, twins on the way, no career, no home, no power. He thought she'd disappear quietly, take the settlement, fade away. He was wrong. What he didn't know was that his pregnant wife had built his empire, her ideas, her strategies, her brilliance, and she was about to prove it. This is the story of how Catherine went from abandoned and broke to building a $900 million empire. How the woman he threw away became the woman he could never afford. How two babies he didn't want became heirs to a fortune she built with her own hands. This is the story of the billionaire heirs and their mother who refused to disappear. Let's begin. The leather suitcases sat by the front door. Four of them, packed. Catherine Morrison Ashford stopped in the doorway, her hand still on the handle. The weight of her pregnant belly pulled at her lower back. 6 months along with twins. The doctor had just told her everything looked perfect. Healthy heartbeats, good growth. She had driven home with her hands on the steering wheel, thinking about nursery colors. Now she stared at the suitcases. Expensive leather, monogrammed. The ones Brandon used for business trips to San Francisco and New York. But all four of them, together, lined up like soldiers waiting for orders. Brandon, her voice echoed in the marble foyer. He appeared at the top of the stairs, freshly showered. Cologne she could smell from 20 feet away. The cologne he wore for important meetings, for dates, for impressing people, for leaving. Catherine. He descended the stairs without looking at her, his eyes fixed on his phone. We need to talk. She knew. And God help her. She knew. Her hands went to her belly. Instinct. Protection. The babies kicked against her palms. What's happening? The words came out small, smaller than she wanted. Brandon reached the bottom of the stairs. He tucked his phone in his pocket, finally looked at her. His face was blank. Corporate blank. The face he used in board meetings when he was about to fire someone. I'm leaving, Catherine. I've already filed. The world tilted. She grabbed the doorframe. Filed what? Divorce papers. My lawyer will contact your lawyer if you have one. If not, get one. I don't understand. Her mind was racing, trying to catch up, failing. We're having babies. Our babies. In 3 months. I know the timeline. He picked up his phone again. Checked the screen. Someone was texting him. Over and over. The screen lit up, went dark, lit up again. Is there someone else? She hated how her voice cracked, hated the question, hated knowing the answer before he spoke. That's not relevant. Not relevant. The word came out sharp, loud. The babies kicked harder. We're married. I'm pregnant. How is that not relevant? Because either way, I'm leaving. The marriage is over. I've grown in directions you haven't. He said it like he was reading from a script. We want different things now. I need to find myself. Find himself with someone else. Someone who was texting him right now. Someone who made him shower and wear cologne at 7 in the evening on a Tuesday. Catherine's legs shook. She moved to the couch, lowered herself down. The cream-colored cushions they had picked out together 4 years ago. When they were happy. When she was Catherine Morrison, marketing director with a corner office. Before she became just Brandon's wife. Who is she? That's not important right now. Who is she, Brandon? He sighed, annoyed, like she was being difficult. Her name is Sienna. We met 6 months ago. 6 months? Catherine did the math. 6 months ago, she was 3 months pregnant. Morning sickness, exhaustion, growing their children while he was growing a relationship with someone named Sienna. Does everyone know? Her voice was flat now. Numb. He didn't answer, which was an answer. Your mother? My mother understands that people grow apart. Roger? Roger Kincaid, his business partner. The man who had been best man at their wedding. Brandon checked his phone again. Roger has his opinions. They're not relevant either. Everything was not relevant, except the woman texting him, except getting out of this house, except abandoning his pregnant wife. "The babies," Catherine whispered. "We'll work out custody arrangements through lawyers. My attorney will be in touch." Custody arrangements, like they were dividing assets, like their children were items on a spreadsheet. Brandon grabbed the first suitcase, rolled it toward the door, came back for the second, the third, the fourth. Catherine sat on the couch and watched her husband pack his life away, watched him erase their marriage, watched him leave. He paused at the door. "Catherine, don't make this difficult. The prenup is clear. You'll be fine." The prenup, the document she had signed 8 years ago when she was 24 and in love. When Brandon's mother insisted, when Catherine thought prenups were for people who expected to fail. "Goodbye, Catherine." He walked out, closed the door. She heard his car start, a throaty engine roar. His Tesla, the one she had encouraged him to buy, saved the environment. Think of the future. Think of the children. He drove away. Catherine sat in the silence. The house felt enormous, empty, cold. The air conditioning hummed. The refrigerator clicked on in the kitchen. Normal sounds. Everything was normal, except nothing was normal. Her phone sat on the coffee table. She picked it up, opened the browser, typed his name, Brandon Ashford. The search results loaded. The first hit was a tabloid website. Tech CEO steps out with Instagram model. The photo showed Brandon and a woman. Young, beautiful, blonde, tight dress, Brandon's arm around her waist. His smile, the smile Catherine hadn't seen in months. She clicked the article. Brandon Ashford, 38, CEO of Ashford Technologies, was spotted at the Ivy last night with Sienna Vale, 24, Instagram influencer with 200,000 followers. Sources say the two have been inseparable for months. Months, plural. Catherine scrolled through more photos. Brandon and Sienna at a restaurant, at a club, at a gallery opening, all dated. 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, last week. Everyone knew, everyone saw, everyone except her. The comments section was worse. "His wife is pregnant and he's already moved on? Gross. Have you seen his wife? I'd trade up too. Sienna is so much hotter, can't blame him. Oh, men always leave when the wife gets fat." Catherine closed the browser, set the phone down, put her hands on her belly. The babies were quiet now, sleeping, trusting her to protect them. Her chest felt tight, her throat closed. She tried to breathe, shallow, fast. Her vision blurred. Panic attack. She recognized it. Had them in college during finals. Hadn't had one in years. She leaned forward, put her head between her knees, as much as she could with her belly, counted breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. The tightness eased. The panic receded, left her hollow. Catherine sat up, looked around the living room, their home. 5 bedrooms, pool, view of the hills. The house Brandon bought with his first big investment round. The house she had decorated, made warm, made theirs, not hers, his. The deed was in his name only. He had explained that it was better for taxes, for liability, for business. She had signed the papers. Trusted him. Her phone buzzed, a text message, Dottie. Her college roommate, best friend, the one who had warned her about the prenup 8 years ago. "Kat, I'm seeing photos. Are you okay? Call me." Catherine stared at the message, tried to type a response. Her fingers wouldn't move. She held the phone, did nothing. It buzzed again. "Kat, seriously, I'm worried. Pick up the phone." She should call, should talk, should ask for help. But if she said it out loud, it would be real. If she told someone, she couldn't pretend that this was a nightmare. Couldn't wake up and find Brandon next to her. Find the suitcases gone, find their life intact. A sharp pain shot through her abdomen. Catherine gasped, clutched her belly. The babies. No, please, no. Another pain, tighter, harder. She fumbled for her phone, dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? I'm pregnant, 6 months. I'm having contractions. Her voice shook. Something's wrong. How far apart are the contractions? Catherine waited, counted. Another pain hit. Maybe 5 minutes. Is anyone with you? No, I'm alone. I'm sending an ambulance. Stay on the line with me. The paramedics arrived 12 minutes later. They found Catherine on the couch, breathing through contractions, alone in her enormous empty house. At the hospital, the doctor examined her. Young, competent, kind eyes. It's Braxton Hicks contractions, she said. False labor. Very common, especially with twins and stress. But your babies are fine. Both heartbeats are strong. Are you sure? Catherine's voice was barely audible. I'm sure, but you need to manage your stress levels. What happened today? Catherine looked at the ceiling. White tiles, fluorescent lights, sterile, safe. My husband left me. The doctor paused, squeezed Catherine's hand. I'm sorry. Do you have someone who can stay with you tonight? I'll call my friend. Please do. You shouldn't be alone right now. After the doctor left, Catherine picked up her phone. It had died during the ambulance ride. She plugged it in, waited for it to charge. When it turned on, she had 37 missed calls, 23 text messages, all from Dottie. She pressed call. Dottie answered on the first ring. Cat, Jesus Christ, where are you? The hospital. What happened? Are the babies okay? False alarm. Braxton Hicks. They're fine. Silence. Then, did he really leave you? I'm seeing it everywhere online. Photos, articles. People are talking. Yes. The word was a whisper. He left. I'm getting on a plane. I'll be there in 4 hours. Don't move. Don't sign anything. Don't talk to anyone. I'm coming. Dottie, you don't have to. Like hell I don't. You're my best friend. You're pregnant with twins, and that bastard just made the biggest mistake of his life. I'm coming. We're going to fix this. I don't think you can fix this. Watch me. I am a divorce attorney, remember? This is what I do. 4 hours. Hold on for 4 hours. Dottie hung up. Catherine lay in the hospital bed, monitors beat beside her. The babies moved, kicked, alive, safe. For now, she put her hands on her belly, felt their movements. 2 hearts beating inside her, 2 lives depending on her. Brandon didn't want them, didn't want her, but she wanted them, wanted to be their mother, wanted to protect them, wanted to give them every defense. She just had no idea how. The nurse came in, offered her food. Catherine shook her head. Couldn't eat. The nurse left. Catherine closed her eyes, tried to sleep. Couldn't. Her mind raced, replayed the suitcases. Brandon's blank face, his cologne, his phone, someone else's text, 6 months of lies. She checked her phone, locked it, unlocked it, locked it again. The universal gesture of anxiety, the physical manifestation of not knowing what to do with your hands when your life was falling apart. Lock, unlock, lock. 4 hours. She could survive 4 hours. She had to. Dottie arrived at the hospital at 2 in the morning. Blazer over jeans, travel bag, lipstick perfect despite the red-eye flight. She took one look at Catherine and pulled her into a hug. Okay, we're going to handle this, but first, tell me everything. They sat in the hospital room. Catherine recounted the suitcases, the conversation, the photos, the tabloids, the panic attack. Dottie listened, took notes on her phone, asked questions, professional questions, lawyer questions. Do you have the prenup? At home, in the filing cabinet. Good, we'll get it. What about bank accounts, credit cards? Joint accounts, his name and mine. Dottie frowned. Try your credit card right now. Buy something small. Catherine pulled up a shopping app, tried to order a book. The transaction failed. She tried another card, failed, a third, failed. He froze them. Her voice was hollow. Of course he did. Dottie's jaw tightened. Classic move. Isolate and control. How much cash do you have? Maybe $40 in my wallet? Your personal checking account? Catherine logged in. The balance showed $237. Last week it had been $15,000. Her safety net. The account she had kept separate, just in case. He took it. He took everything. Dottie stood, paced. We need to move fast. Tomorrow morning we're going to see a lawyer. A good one. My mentor, Frank Pemberton. He handles high net worth divorces. He's expensive, but I'll call in a favor. I can't afford expensive. I can't afford anything. Frank will work with us. Trust me. Dottie sat back down. Kat, I need you to think. Did you sign anything recently? Any documents? Any papers Brandon gave you? Catherine thought back. 3 months ago. 4 months ago. Brandon had brought home papers. Said they were updates to his company structure. Boring legal stuff. Asked her to sign. She had. Trusted him. Oh God, I signed something. I don't even remember what. We'll find out. We'll get copies of everything. But Kat, you need to prepare yourself. This is going to get ugly. He's going to paint you as unstable. Gold digger, crazy pregnant woman. He'll use every trick. Everyone already thinks that. The comments online, screw the comments. Random strangers don't matter. What matters is documentation, evidence, legal strategy. Dottie squeezed her hand. You're not alone in this. I'm here. We're going to fight. The doctor discharged Catherine at 6 in the morning. Dottie drove her home in a rental car. They pulled up to the house. The big, empty house. Catherine's hands shook as she unlocked the door. Everything looked the same, but everything was different. Dottie went straight to the filing cabinet, pulled out the prenup, read it. Her expression darkened. This is tight, really tight. He gets everything, the house, the cars, the investments. You get a lump sum of $200,000 if the marriage lasts 5 years, which it has. But that's it. $200,000, Catherine laughed. It sounded broken. To start over, with twins. That's not even a down payment in this city. There's more. Look at this clause. If you contest the prenup, you forfeit the lump sum. You get nothing. So he can leave me pregnant and broke? And if I fight him, I get even less? That's the design. These prenups are meant to intimidate, to make you feel powerless. Dottie kept reading. Wait, there's something here, an infidelity clause. If either party commits adultery prior to filing for divorce, the prenup is void. Everything becomes community property. 50-50 split. Catherine's heart jumped. He's been with Sienna for 6 months. That's adultery. We have to prove it. Photos aren't yet enough. We need documentation, financial records, proof that the affair was ongoing before he filed. How do we get that? We ask for discovery. We subpoena records. We dig. Dottie's eyes gleamed. And we pray he was stupid enough to use company money. That would void the prenup and open him up to shareholder lawsuits. Brandon's not stupid. Men in love do stupid things. And from those photos, he's definitely in something. They worked through the morning. Dottie made calls, set up a meeting with Frank Pemberton for that afternoon, ordered food delivery, paid with her credit card because Catherine's were frozen. Catherine tried to eat, managed 3 bites of a sandwich. The rest sat untouched. She wandered through the house. Each room held memories. The kitchen where they had cooked together on Sunday mornings. The living room where they had watched movies. The bedroom where they had made love, made babies. Past tense. All past tense. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number, she answered. Catherine, this is Constance. Brandon's mother, voice cold as ever. Hello, Constance. I wanted to call and express my support for Brandon's decision. Sometimes marriages simply run their course. I hope you'll handle this with dignity. Handle it with dignity. Be quiet. Disappear. Don't embarrass the family. Constance, I'm 6 months pregnant with your grandchildren. Yes, Brandon mentioned that. We'll work out appropriate visitation once they're born. Appropriate visitation, like scheduling a meeting, like the babies were commodities. Does it bother you at all that your son is abandoning his family? I think abandoning is a strong word. He's making a choice to pursue happiness. You should want that for him, Catherine. Something inside Catherine snapped. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet break, like a thread pulled too tight. You're right, Constance. I should want Brandon to be happy, the way he wanted me to be happy when I gave up my career for him, when I managed his home and his social calendar and his reputation, when I got pregnant because he wanted children. I should absolutely prioritize his happiness over mine. Thank you for the reminder. She hung up. Her hands were shaking. She had never spoken to Constance like that, had always been polite, accommodating. The perfect daughter-in-law, not anymore. Dottie looked up from her laptop. Who was that? Brandon's mother, being supportive of him. Of course she is. These families always close ranks. Dottie turned her laptop around. Look at this. I've been digging into Sienna Vale. Her Instagram is public. She's been posting photos from expensive restaurants, luxury hotels, designer bags, all in the last 6 months. Catherine scrolled through the photos. Sienna in a bikini on a yacht. Sienna in Paris. Sienna with champagne. Sienna with Brandon's arm around her. Date stamps on every photo, a timeline of betrayal. She's 24. Catherine stared at the screen. I was 24 when Brandon and I got married. I was getting my MBA, working 60-hour weeks, trying to build a career. And now you're 32, 6 months pregnant, no career, no money, no power. Dottie closed the laptop. But we're going to change that. We're going to find every mistake he made, every lie, every transaction, and we're going to hurry him with it. At 2 in the afternoon, they went to Frank Pemberton's office. Downtown, high-rise, glass and steel. The kind of building that charged by the minute. Frank was 55, silver hair, good suit, kind eyes that had seen everything. He listened to Catherine's story without interrupting, took notes, asked pointed questions. Do you have any reason to believe he used company funds for the affair? I don't know. How would I know? Company credit cards, travel expenses, consulting fees to shell companies. It's more common than you'd think. He travels constantly. I never questioned it. We'll question it now. Frank made a note. Here's the strategy. We file tomorrow. We request immediate temporary support. We subpoena financial records. We make noise. We make him defend himself. Won't that make him angry? Probably, but angry people make mistakes, and we need him to make mistakes. What if he takes the babies? Frank's expression softened. He won't. You're 6 months pregnant. The babies aren't born yet. He has no grounds. And once they're born, you'll have primary custody as the mother unless he can prove you're unfit, which you're not. He could try. Let him try. We'll be ready, and they spent 2 hours in Frank's office, going over strategy, options, risks. By the time they left, Catherine felt exhausted, wrung out, but less helpless. Dottie drove her home. The sun was setting, orange light across the hills. Beautiful, indifferent to human suffering. You should rest, Dottie said. Tomorrow's going to be intense. Catherine nodded, went upstairs, changed into pajamas, lay in bed. The bed she had shared with Brandon for 8 years. The sheets still smelled like his cologne. She got up, stripped the bed, threw everything in the laundry, found fresh sheets, made the bed herself. A small act, a tiny rebellion. At midnight, she couldn't sleep. She went downstairs, found cleaning supplies, started scrubbing the kitchen counters, then the floors, then the bathrooms. Panic cleaning, displacement activity, anxiety channeled into productivity. If she couldn't control her life, at least she could control the cleanliness of her floors. Dottie found her at 2 in the morning, on her hands and knees, scrubbing grout with a toothbrush. Cat, what are you doing? Cleaning. The house is a mess. The house is spotless. You're pregnant. You need to sleep. I can't sleep. Dottie knelt beside her, took the toothbrush. Come on, let's go to bed. She guided Catherine back upstairs, tucked her in like a child, lay down beside her, held her hand in the dark. I'm so tired, Dottie. Catherine's voice was small. Not physically, just tired of everything. I know, but you're going to get through this, I promise. Catherine closed her eyes, listened to Dottie's breathing, felt the weight of her friend's presence, the first genuine comfort since Brandon left. She finally slept. The coffee had gone cold, bitter, like everything else that morning. Catherine sat across from Frank Pemberton in his conference room. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Brandon's office was 6 blocks away. She could almost see it from here, almost feel him working, moving on, forgetting. Frank spread documents across the mahogany table. We filed this morning. He'll be served by end of day. The motion requests emergency temporary support. $25,000 per month until trial. He'll never agree to that. He doesn't have to agree. The judge decides, and judges tend to favor pregnant women with no income. Frank tapped another document. We've also subpoenaed his financial records, corporate and personal bank statements, credit card transactions, investment accounts, everything from the last 2 years. Dottie leaned forward. How long until we get the records? 30 days, unless they fight the subpoena, which they will. So 60 days, maybe 90. Catherine's hands went to her belly. The baby's kicked, active today, like they could feel her stress. I'll be 8 months pregnant in 90 days. What am I supposed to do until then? You focus on staying healthy. Let us handle the legal work. In the meantime, I want you to make a list of everything you know about Brandon's business, clients, contracts, partnerships, anything that might help us understand his finances. Catherine thought back. 8 years of marriage, 8 years of being excluded from business discussions. Brandon always said it was boring, technical. She wouldn't be interested. She had believed him. I know he started the company 10 years ago, raised money from venture capitalists, built it to $500 million in valuation. But I don't know details. He never shared. What about Roger Kincaid, the business partner? Roger's been there from the beginning, 49% owner. Brandon has 51%. Are you friendly with Roger? We see each other at company events. He has always been nice, professional. Frank made a note. Roger might be an asset. Business partners notice things, especially financial irregularities. Catherine's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ms. Morrison, this is Roger Kincaid. I need to speak with you privately. It's important. Can we meet? She showed the message to Frank. He read it, smiled. That was fast. Maybe Roger noticed something, or maybe Brandon did something that upset him. Either way, this could be very good for us. Should I meet him? Yes, but not alone. I'll go with you. Set it up somewhere public. Catherine typed a response. Coffee shop on 4th Street? Tomorrow at 10? Roger replied immediately. I'll be there, thank you. That evening, Catherine couldn't stop thinking about Roger. What did he want to tell her? What had he noticed? She sat in her car in the driveway, key in the ignition, engine off. She had driven to her mother's house, 45 minutes away. Small neighborhood, small house, so different from the mansion she lived in now. She couldn't make herself get out of the car. Her mother, Vivian, was inside. Catherine could see the living room light, the television flickering. Her mother watching the news, like she did every night, routine, comfort, stability. Catherine hadn't told her mother about Brandon, couldn't face the disappointment. The I told you so. Vivian had never liked Brandon, thought he was entitled, arrogant, too rich, too smooth. She had been right. Catherine started the car, drove home. She would tell her mother eventually. Just not tonight. At home, Dottie was cooking, something that smelled like garlic and tomatoes. Catherine walked into the kitchen. You went somewhere, Dottie said. Not a question. Drove around, thinking. About? Everything. Nothing. Roger's message. What he wants to tell us. Frank thinks it's significant. What if Brandon destroyed his own company to avoid paying me? What if he's hiding money? Then we'll find it. That's what forensic accountants do. They find hidden money. Catherine sat at the kitchen island, watched Dottie cook. The mundane domestic scene was surreal. A week ago, her life was different. A week ago, she was planning nursery colors. Now she was planning legal strategy. Dottie, what if I lose? What if the prenup stands and I get $200,000 and no custody and nothing? You won't. But what if? Dottie put down the wooden spoon, turned to face her. Then you'll take that $200,000 and you'll build something. Because that's what survivors do. They survive, and then they thrive. But we're not there yet. Right now, we fight. They ate dinner in silence. Pasta with vegetables. Catherine managed half a plate. Progress. That night, she dreamed about the early days with Brandon, when they were young, when he looked at her like she was the only person in the room, when he brought her coffee in bed, when he laughed at her jokes. She woke up at 3 in the morning. Pillow wet, she had been crying in her sleep. The house was dark, quiet, too big, too empty. She got up, walked through the rooms, turned on lights, turned them off, tried to make the house feel smaller, less lonely. In Brandon's office, she stopped, looked at his desk. His computer was gone. He had taken it when he left, but the filing cabinets remained. She opened the top drawer. Files, tax documents, investment statements. She pulled out a folder, read through it, numbers, percentages. None of it made sense. Another folder. Company board meeting minutes. She scanned the pages, found her own name. Brandon Ashford proposed hiring Catherine Morrison as Chief Marketing Officer. Motion tabled pending discussion of nepotism policies. Catherine stared at the date. 4 years ago. He had never told her. Never mentioned that he had tried to bring her into the company or that the board had blocked it. She kept reading, found another mention. Brandon Ashford presented the Quantum Rebrand Strategy. Board unanimously approved. Budget of $2 million allocated. Quantum Rebrand. Catherine remembered that campaign, remembered designing it, presenting it to Brandon over dinner. He had called it brilliant, said he would pitch it to the board. He had pitched it as his idea. She pulled out more folders, found more campaigns she had designed, more strategies she had developed, all credited to Brandon, all successful. He had built his company on her ideas, and then he had thrown her away. Catherine sat on the floor of his office, surrounded by files, by proof, by the architecture of her own erasure. She wasn't sad anymore. She was angry. The next morning, she wore a black dress, maternity, professional, armor. Dottie looked at her. You look different. I'm done crying. They met Roger at the coffee shop. He was already there, sitting in the back corner, ball cap pulled low, nervous. Frank made introductions, ordered coffee for everyone, decaf for Catherine. Roger waited until they sat down. Then he pulled out an envelope, set it on the table. I'm violating my NDA by being here, but I can't watch this anymore. I've known you for 8 years, Catherine. You've always been kind to me, to everyone, and what Brandon's doing is wrong. What is he doing? Roger pushed the envelope across the table. Open it. Catherine opened it. Inside were printouts, financial statements, expense reports, hotel receipts. Frank took them, read quickly. His expression shifted, professional to surprised to satisfied. These are company expenses, all related to Sienna Vale. Roger nodded. He put her on the payroll 8 months ago, listed her as a marketing consultant. She doesn't do any work. She's just a line item, $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month for 8 months, $160,000 of company money for his mistress. There's more, Roger said. The apartment she lives in, luxury building downtown, company leased it, listed as corporate housing for visiting executives. But only Sienna lives there. Brandon pays the rent, $7,500 a month. Frank was making notes. Fast, precise. What else? Trips, Paris, Tokyo, Bali, all business trips on paper. But she went with him, business class tickets, 5-star hotels charged to the company. How much total? In 8 months? Close to $400,000. $400,000 of company money for an affair. Catherine felt something shift inside her. Not sadness, not even anger. Something colder, sharper, determination. Why are you telling me this? She asked. Roger met her eyes. Because it's theft. Because I've worked for 10 years to build this company, and Brandon is destroying it. The board doesn't know yet, but they will. And when they find out, there will be consequences. I want you to have this information first. Won't this hurt you too, if the company is damaged? Probably, but I can live with that. I can't live with staying silent. He stood. That's all I have. The rest is up to you. He left, walked out of the coffee shop without looking back. Frank organized the documents. This is it. This voids the prenup. This is fraud, embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty. He's finished. Catherine looked down at the papers. Proof, evidence, power. She had been powerless yesterday. Today she had teeth. What happens now? Now we file an emergency motion. We present this to the judge. We request a full forensic audit of the company, and we watch Brandon panic. They went back to Frank's office, spent 4 hours drafting motions. By evening, everything was filed. Servers were dispatched. Brandon would be served with the new documents by morning. Catherine drove home alone. Dottie had gone back to the house earlier to make phone calls. Catherine needed space, needed to think. She pulled into a parking lot overlooking the reservoir, turned off the car, sat in silence. The babies kicked, strong, healthy, demanding attention. She put her hands on her belly. "Your father is an idiot," she whispered. "But you're going to be okay. I promise." The sun set over the water, pink and orange, the same colors she had imagined for the nursery. Soft, gentle, safe. She wasn't soft anymore. She was learning to be hard. Her phone rang. Brandon, first time he had called since he left. She answered, said nothing. "Catherine." His voice was tight, angry. "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm fighting. You signed a prenup. You have no grounds. You're wasting everyone's time." "Actually, I have grounds. Adultery, embezzlement, fraud. Take your pick." Silence. She could hear his breathing, fast, agitated. "I don't know what you think you found, but company expense reports, Sienna's salary, her apartment, your trips together, all on company money, all documented." More silence. "That's private business information. How did you, doesn't matter how. What matters is I have it, and I'm using it. You're making a mistake, Catherine. If you push this, I'll push back. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." "What kind of person am I, Brandon? The kind who gave up her career for you, who supported you, who's carrying your children. What terrible things are you going to tell people? You're emotionally unstable. Everyone will see that, pregnant and vindictive, trying to destroy me." She laughed, genuinely laughed. "You destroyed yourself. I'm just holding up a mirror." She hung up. Her hands were shaking, but she was smiling. She had been afraid of him, afraid of his anger, his power, his control. She wasn't afraid anymore. Catherine started the car, drove home, walked into the house, found Dottie on the couch with her laptop. Brandon called. He's scared. Dottie grinned. "Good. Scared people make mistakes." Frank said the same thing. "Because it's true, the pendulum is swinging, and it's swinging hard." That night, Catherine slept well for the first time in a week, not because her problems were solved, but because she had stopped being a victim. She was becoming a fighter. The courthouse steps were swarming with cameras. Catherine stopped at the bottom, stared up at the chaos, reporters, photographers, boom microphones like weapons. Frank put his hand on her elbow. "Steady, don't say anything. Let me handle it." Dottie flanked her other side. A wall of protection. They walked up the steps together. The crowd surged forward. "Catherine, how do you feel about the affair? Did you know about Sienna? Are you trying to destroy your husband's company? Is it true you're having mental health issues?" Catherine kept her eyes forward. One step, another. The cameras flashed. The questions flew. She felt exposed, violated. Every lens capturing her swollen belly, her pale face, her vulnerability. They made it inside. The courthouse was cooler, quieter. Her ears rang from the noise outside. "I wasn't expecting that," she said. "Brandon leaked the hearing time," Frank said. "He wants to control the narrative, make you look unstable. This is intimidation." "It's working. Don't let it. The only opinion that matters is the judge's." They walked through security, metal detectors, x-rays, bureaucratic routine in the middle of catastrophe. Then upstairs to the family court. Brandon was already there. Expensive suit. 3 lawyers. He looked calm, composed, like he was attending a board meeting. He didn't look at Catherine. Sienna sat behind him, blonde hair perfect, dressed too tight. She was chewing gum, looking at her phone, bored. Catherine's stomach twisted. That woman, that girl, sitting in court like she belonged there, like destroying a family was entertainment. The bailiff called them in. The judge entered. Older woman, gray hair, no-nonsense expression. Judge Patricia Martinez. Catherine had Googled her. known for being tough, fair, unimpressed by wealth. "Let's begin," Judge Martinez said. "I've reviewed the emergency motions from both parties. This is not a trial. This is a hearing to determine temporary support until we can schedule a proper trial." "Mr. Ashford, your position?" Brandon's lead attorney stood, tall man, slick, too many teeth when he smiled. "Your Honor, my client is willing to provide reasonable support. However, Ms. Morrison's demands are excessive. She's requesting $25,000 per month. This is punitive. She's trying to drain my client's resources out of spite." Judge Martinez looked at Catherine. "Ms. Morrison, you're 6 months pregnant with twins?" Catherine stood. "Yes, Your Honor." "And you have no income?" "No, Your Honor. I gave up my career 8 years ago when we married." "Do you have access to marital funds?" "No, Your Honor. My husband froze all accounts and credit cards." "How are you surviving?" "My friend is supporting me." Judge Martinez made a note, looked at Brandon's lawyer. "Your client froze her access to all accounts while she's pregnant?" The lawyer hesitated. "My client was protecting marital assets from dissipation. By leaving his pregnant wife with no resources, that's not protection. That's abandonment." She flipped through documents. "I'm granting temporary support of $25,000 per month, retroactive to the date of separation. Mr. Ashford will also restore Ms. Morrison's credit card access with a $50,000 limit." Brandon's jaw tightened. His lawyer opened his mouth to object. "Don't," Judge Martinez said. "I'm not finished. I've also reviewed Ms. Morrison's motion regarding company financial records. Mr. Ashford, did you use corporate funds to support an extramarital affair?" The lawyer stood. "Your Honor, those allegations are unsubstantiated and—" "I have expense reports," Frank interrupted. "Hotel receipts, payroll records, all provided by a company insider. Sienna Vale was hired as a marketing consultant but performed no work. Corporate housing leased for her personal use. Business trips with personal companions charged to company accounts. We're talking hundreds of thousands of pollen." Judge Martinez looked at Brandon. "Is this true?" Brandon stood. "Your Honor, Sienna is a legitimate consultant. She provides social media expertise. The trips were business-related. Does she have a marketing degree?" "No, but—" "A portfolio of corporate clients?" "She has an Instagram following." "An Instagram following is not professional credentials, Mr. Ashford. This sounds like embezzlement." She made another note. "I'm ordering a full forensic audit of Ashford Technologies. Independent accountant. Full access to all records. Results due in 90 days. Brandon's lawyer looked panicked. "Your Honor, that's highly irregular. It will disrupt business operations." "Your client disrupted his marriage. He can handle disrupted business operations. We're adjourned." The gavel cracked. They stood, filed out. The reporters were waiting in the hallway. Brandon walked past them without speaking. His lawyers formed a barrier. Frank paused, addressed the cameras. "My client is grateful for the court's decision. She looks forward to the truth coming out." Short, professional. Then he guided Catherine to a side exit. They avoided the main doors. The circus outside. In the parking garage, Catherine finally breathed. Did that actually just happen? Judge Martinez doesn't play games. She saw through Brandon immediately. What happens now? Now we wait for the audit and we prepare for Brandon's counterattack, because it's coming. It came that evening. Catherine was at home. Dottie was making dinner. The news was on in the background. Then she heard Brandon's name. She looked at the screen. Brandon stood at a podium. Press conference. Hair perfect. Suit perfect. Posture perfect. "I want to address the false allegations made against me today in court. My wife, Catherine, is going through a difficult time. Pregnancy is hard. Carrying twins is even harder. I understand that. I have compassion for what she's experiencing. But the accusations about my business practices are completely false. Sienna Vale is a valued consultant who has helped our company navigate social media marketing. Every expense was legitimate. Every decision was made with the board's knowledge. My estranged wife is trying to destroy my reputation because she's hurt. I hope we can resolve this privately for the sake of our unborn children." The spin was perfect. Concerned husband, innocent businessman, victimized by unstable pregnant woman. Catherine felt sick. Her phone started buzzing. Text messages, dozens, from people she hadn't talked to in months, years. Saw the news. Are you okay? He seems really concerned about you. Pregnancy hormones can be intense. Maybe take a break from the legal stuff. You should think about the babies. Stress isn't good. Delete, delete, delete. Then a call, a number she recognized. Margaret Ashford, Brandon's aunt, society matriarch. The woman who had hosted their wedding at her estate. Catherine answered. Hello, Margaret. Catherine, dear, I'm calling because I'm concerned. Brandon says you're unwell, that you're making wild accusations. This isn't like you. Margaret, Brandon is having an affair. He used company money to support his mistress. He left me pregnant and broke. None of that concerns you? Affairs happen, dear. Men have needs. The important thing is maintaining dignity, going to court, talking to reporters. It's so unseemly. Unseemly. Destroying a marriage was fine. Fighting back was unseemly. Margaret, I have to go. Catherine, wait. I want you to know that when the divorce is final, you won't be welcome at family events anymore. It's nothing personal. But Brandon is blood. You're not. I hope you understand. She hung up before Catherine could respond. Dottie looked up from the stove. Who was that? Brandon's aunt, disinviting me from family events after the divorce. Wow, they're really closing ranks. Catherine's phone rang again. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Then did. Catherine, this is Constance, Brandon's mother. Again. Hello, Constance. I saw the news. I want you to know that Brandon is a good man. He's made some mistakes, but he's a good man. I hope you're not going to continue this crusade. Crusade? Catherine's voice was flat. I'm protecting myself and my children. By accusing him of crimes, by trying to audit his company. Catherine, this will destroy him. He destroyed me first. You're being dramatic. You signed a prenup. You knew what you were agreeing to. Now you're trying to go back on your word because you're angry. Something snapped. Clean. Final. Constance, your son abandoned his pregnant wife. He stole from his company. He lied to everyone, including you. And you're calling me to defend him, to ask me to stop fighting. Do you have any idea what he's done to me? He's my son. And I'm the mother of your grandchildren. But apparently that doesn't matter. The children will be fine. Brandon will provide for them. Brandon can't even visit them in the womb. You think he's going to be a good father? Silence. Then Constance said, cold and final, you're going to regret this, Catherine. You're making an enemy of this family. I think your family made an enemy of me first. Catherine hung up. Her hands were shaking. She sat down, put her head in her hands. The babies kicked, hard, protesting the stress hormones flooding her system. I'm sorry, she whispered to them. I'm sorry you're in the middle of this. Dottie brought her tea, chamomile, caffeine-free. Social media is melting down. People are picking on his size. You're either the gold-digging villain or the abandoned pregnant woman. No middle ground. What are they saying? You don't want to know? Tell me anyway. Dottie pulled out her phone, read comments. She's trying to ruin him because he upgraded. Pregnant women are emotional terrorists. She should have signed the prenup and moved on. But also, he abandoned his pregnant wife for a child. Men who cheat during pregnancy are scum. I hope she takes everything. Catherine closed her eyes. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone always has an opinion. The question is whether you care. I want to say I don't, but I do. I care that people think I'm crazy, that people believe him. Catherine Morrison, listen to me. You're not crazy. You're not vindictive. You're a woman who was betrayed and is fighting back. The people who matter know that. Who matters? Everyone's abandoned me. Friends, family, everyone. I haven't abandoned you. Frank hasn't. Roger hasn't. Your mother hasn't. And you know what? That's enough. Quality over quantity. Her mother, Catherine, still hadn't called her. Hadn't told her. Vivian would hear about it eventually. The news was everywhere. She should call, should explain, should ask for help. But she couldn't make herself do it. couldn't face her mother's disappointed face. The "I told you so." The proof that leaving her career had been a mistake. That night, Catherine lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. 47 tiles visible from this angle. She counted them. Again. Again. When anxiety felt infinite, countable things were anchors. 47 tiles, 2 babies, 1 life falling apart, 3 people still standing by her, numbers she could hold on to. At 3 in the morning, she got up, couldn't sleep, went downstairs, opened her laptop, searched her own name. Hundreds of articles, thousands of comments. She read them all. Every opinion, every judgment, every piece of vitriol. By sunrise, she was numb, empty, hollowed out by strangers' words. Dottie found her in the kitchen. Laptop open, eyes red. "You've been reading about yourself." "Yes." "Why?" "I don't know, masochism maybe." Dottie closed the laptop. "You need to stop. You can't control what they say. You can only control what you do." "What should I do?" "Keep fighting. Keep showing up. Keep being the woman who refuses to disappear quietly." Catherine looked at her friend, exhausted, loyal, still here. "Why are you doing this? You have your own life, your own practice. You don't have to be here." "Yes, I do. Because you're my friend. Because what's happening to you is wrong. Because someone has to stand with you." Dottie squeezed her hand. "And because I know you'd do the same for me." Catherine nodded, couldn't speak, throat too tight. Her phone buzzed hard, a text from an unknown number. She almost ignored it, then saw the preview. "Catherine, this is Constance. We need to talk privately. There are things you should know about Brandon, things I should have told you years ago." Catherine showed Dottie the message. "That's unexpected," Dottie said. "Could be a trap." "Could be, but it could also be useful. What do you have to lose?" "Everything." "Nothing." Catherine wasn't sure anymore. She typed a response. "When and where?" The answer came immediately. "Tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon, my house, come alone." Constance Ashford's house looked like it belonged in a magazine. Georgian colonial, manicured lawn, rose garden, old money in architectural form. Catherine sat in her car outside for 15 minutes before going in. Couldn't make herself open the door. Couldn't make her hands obey her brain. She counted her breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally opened the door, walked up the path, rang the bell. Constance answered immediately. She looked different, older, tired, no makeup, hair pulled back simply, not the polished society matron Catherine knew. "Thank you for coming," Constance said. "I know I don't deserve your trust." "No, you don't." "Fair enough, come in. We should talk privately." They sat in Constance's study, books floor to ceiling, leather chairs, Persian rug, the smell of old paper and furniture polish. Constance poured tea, Earl Grey, the same blend she always served at family gatherings. The ritual was surreal, like they were having a normal visit, like everything was fine. "Catherine, I need to apologize. My phone call after the court hearing was cruel, misguided. I was trying to protect Brandon because he's my son. But protecting him means enabling him, and I can't do that anymore." Catherine said nothing, waited. "There's something you should know about Brandon. Something I've kept secret for too long." Constance set down her teacup. "This isn't the first time he's done this." The words hung in the air. "What do you mean?" 10 years ago, Brandon was engaged to another woman, Melissa. They were planning a wedding. She was pregnant, 4 months along, and Brandon met someone else, left Melissa. The engagement ended, the pregnancy ended. Melissa had a miscarriage from the stress. Catherine felt cold. "You knew he'd done this before, and you didn't warn me?" "I thought he'd changed. He was younger then, immature. I convinced myself it was different with you, that he'd grown up. I was wrong." "Did Melissa get anything, support, money?" "Brandon paid her to sign an NDA, $200,000. She disappeared. I haven't heard from her in a decade." $200,000, the same amount Catherine was supposed to get from the prenup, the price of silence, the cost of disappearing. "Why are you telling me this now?" Constance stood, walked to her desk, pulled out a folder, set it in front of Catherine. Because I'm tired of protecting a man who doesn't deserve it. Because you're the mother of my grandchildren. Because I should have done this 10 years ago for Melissa. Catherine opened the folder. Documents, financial statements, trust fund paperwork. What is this? Brandon's father, my late husband Robert, set up trust funds for grandchildren before he died. Any biological grandchildren of ours are entitled to equal shares of a $10 million trust. Brandon doesn't control it. I do. As trustee. $10 million? Split between however many grandchildren there are. Your twins would each receive $5 million, accessible at age 21, with provisions for education and medical expenses before then. Catherine's head spun. Brandon never mentioned this. Because he doesn't want you to know. If you knew the children had money, you'd have less incentive to settle quietly. You'd have power. Constance pushed the folder closer. That's exactly why I'm telling you. You need power. Why would you betray your own son? Constance's eyes were sad. I'm not betraying him. I'm choosing my grandchildren over his selfishness. And I'm choosing the woman who actually loves those babies over the man who abandoned them. Catherine looked at the documents. Legal language, trust provisions, her children's future, security she hadn't known existed. What else do you know? About his business? Nothing specific. But I know Brandon. I know how he operates. He's charming, persuasive. He makes people believe in him. But underneath, he's ruthless. If he used company money for Sienna, it wasn't an accident. It was entitlement. He believed the rules didn't apply to him. Will you testify to that? In court? Against my own son? Constance was quiet. I don't know if I'm that strong. But you came to me. You gave me this information. That's already choosing a side. Choosing a side in private is different from choosing a side publicly. Catherine understood. Fear, loyalty, the complexity of loving someone who was hurting others. Thank you for this, Catherine said. For being honest, finally. It doesn't erase what I said before. The cruelty. No, it doesn't, but it's something. They sat in silence. Two women on opposite sides of a terrible situation, finding unexpected common ground. May I ask you something? Constance said. Yes. Are you going to destroy him? Completely? Catherine thought about it, about revenge, about justice, about what she actually wanted. I'm going to protect myself and my children. If that destroys him, that's his choice. He created this situation. He can live with the consequences. Constance nodded. Fair enough. Catherine left an hour later, drove straight to Frank's office, showed him the trust fund documents. Frank read them, smiled. This changes everything. The children have independent wealth, which means you can't be painted as a gold digger. You're not after his money. You're after what's legally yours. Will this help in court? Absolutely. It shows motivation. You're fighting for principle, not profit. Catherine felt lighter. For the first time in weeks, she felt like she might actually win. That evening, she had a regular OB appointment. Dr. Helena Wright checked the babies, measured, listened to heartbeats, smiled. They're doing great. Healthy growth. Strong hearts. Are you managing your stress? Trying. On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you? 15 by 1, Dr. Wright put down her clipboard. Catherine, I need to be direct. Stress can cause premature labor. It can affect the baby's development. I know what you're going through. I've seen the news, but you need to find ways to decompress. How am I supposed to decompress when my entire life is falling apart? Small things. Walk outside, listen to music, spend time with people who care about you, read a book, take a bath, anything that gives your nervous system a break. Catherine nodded, knew the doctor was right, knew she was spiraling. At home, she tried, put on music, classical, something without words, ran a bath. Lavender bath salts Dottie had bought sank into the water. The warmth was immediate relief. Her muscles unclenched. The baby settled. She closed her eyes, let herself just exist, just be, just breathe. For 20 minutes, she thought about nothing. Let the water hold her. Let the music wash over her. When she got out, she felt almost human. Dottie knocked on the bathroom door. Kat, you okay in there? Yeah, just taking a bath. Good, that's good. Self-care is important. Catherine dried off, put on soft pajamas, looked at herself in the mirror. 7 months pregnant now, belly huge, face puffy, hair limp. She looked exhausted, but she looked alive. Still here, still fighting. Her phone buzzed. A text from Frank. Roger wants to meet again. Says he has more information. Can you do tomorrow morning? Catherine typed back. Yes, same coffee shop? He suggested somewhere more private. His office, 9 in the morning. I'll be there. She showed Dottie the message. More information, Dottie said. Roger is becoming quite the ally. Or he's covering his own assets, making sure he's on the winning side. Either way, he's helping. I'll take it. That night, Catherine slept better. The bath had helped. Constance's information had helped. Having weapons in her arsenal had helped. She dreamed about the babies, not nightmares. Good dreams. Holding them, feeding them, watching them grow. They had her eyes, Brandon's nose. They were perfect. She woke up crying, happy tears, missing children she hadn't met yet, already loving them more than anything. At breakfast, Dottie made pancakes. Blueberry. Catherine managed too. Progress. You look better, Dottie said. I feel better. Marginally. Maybe Constance's betrayal was what I needed. Proof that I'm not crazy. That Brandon really is the problem. Validation is powerful. I just wish I didn't need it from his mother. They drove to Roger's office at 8:45. Tech company building. Glass and steel. Open floor plan. Everyone looked young and caffeinated and busy. Roger met them in a conference room. Closed the door, pulled the blinds. I have a problem, he said without preamble. The board found out about Sienna, about the expenses. They're furious. There's talk of ousting Brandon as CEO. How did they find out? I told them. Catherine and Dottie exchanged glances. Why, Catherine asked. Because I'm 49% owner. If the company goes down, I go down with it. I can't let Brandon's affair destroy 10 years of work. So I went to the board, showed them everything. Now they want answers. What does this mean for my case? It means you have institutional support. The board wants Brandon out. They'll testify if needed. They'll provide documents. They're on your side. Frank was going to love this. What happens to Brandon? Emergency board meeting tomorrow. Vote of no confidence. If it passes, he's out as CEO. He keeps his shares but loses operational control. Catherine tried to feel something. Sympathy, sadness. She felt nothing, just cold satisfaction. Good, she said. Roger looked at her. You're different than you were 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was a victim. Now I'm a fighter. It suits you. They talked for another hour. Roger gave them copies of board communications, evidence of Brandon's mismanagement, proof that the company was turning against him. When they left, Catherine felt powerful. She had allies. She had information. She had momentum. That afternoon, her mother called. Finally. Catherine Ann Morrison, why did I have to learn from the news that my daughter is getting divorced? Catherine closed her eyes. Here it came. I'm sorry, Mom. I should have called. Yes, you should have. Are you okay? Are the babies okay? We're okay. Do you need money? I'm managing. Catherine, I don't have much, but what I have is yours. You know that. Tears pricked her eyes. I know, Mom. That man was never good enough for you. I told you when you married him, but you were in love. You wouldn't listen. You were right. I don't want to be right. I want you to be happy. Or are you happy? Catherine thought about it. Was she happy? No. But she wasn't destroyed either. She was surviving, fighting, becoming someone new. I'm getting there, she said. Good, that's all I need to hear. I'm proud of you, Catherine, for fighting back, for not disappearing. Your father would be proud too. Her father, dead 15 years now, heart attack at 47, never met Brandon, never knew about the babies. I wish he was here, Catherine whispered. Me too, honey, me too. They talked for an hour about the case, about the babies, about life. When they hung up, Catherine felt grounded, connected. Her mother's voice was an anchor. That night, she sat in the nursery, empty except for one rocking chair. She had stopped decorating when Brandon left. Couldn't finish it alone. She sat in the chair, rocked slowly, put her hands on her belly. I know things are hard right now, she whispered to the babies. I know your father isn't here. I know I'm scared. But I promise you something. I promise you'll always know you were wanted. Always know you were loved. Always know your mother fought for you. That's my promise. No matter what happens, I fought for you. The babies kicked, one, two, like they heard her, like they understood. Catherine rocked in the empty nursery and cried. Not sad tears, not happy tears, just tears. Release, relief. Permission to feel everything. Tomorrow she would fight again. Tonight she would just be, just exist, just survive another day. And that was enough. The eviction notice came on a Tuesday. Catherine stared at the paper taped to the front door. 30 days to vacate the premises. The house wasn't hers, had never been hers. Brandon owned it. Brandon was selling it. She had to leave. She was 7 months pregnant. She had nowhere to go. Inside, she showed the notice to Dottie. He can't do this, Dottie said. There's a court order for temporary support. You have rights. The house is in his name. The judge's order covers money, not property. He's within his legal rights. Where are you supposed to go? That's not his problem anymore. Catherine sat down, felt the weight of it. Another blow, another loss. She was running out of things to lose. We'll find you an apartment, Dottie said. Something affordable, something temporary until the divorce settles. With what money? The support hasn't come through yet. His lawyers are delaying. I'll co-sign, I'll help. Dottie, you've already done so much. And I'll do more, that's what friends do. They spent the afternoon looking at apartments online. Everything decent was expensive. Everything affordable was too small, too far, too depressing. They finally found a studio, 300 square feet, one room, kitchenette, bathroom, $600 a month. Bottom floor, no view, but available immediately. Catherine signed the lease, used Dottie's credit card for the deposit, promised to pay her back, added it to the list of debts she was accumulating. They moved her things over 3 days. Most of the furniture stayed. Wasn't hers anyway. She took clothes, personal items, photos from before Brandon, books, the rocking chair from the nursery. Everything fit in Dottie's car. 2 trips, 8 years of marriage fit in 2 trips. The studio was small, dark. The windows faced a brick wall. The carpet was stained. The refrigerator hummed too loudly. But it was hers. She had her own key, her own space. She was safe. That night, Catherine lay on an air mattress on the floor. Couldn't afford a real bed yet. The babies kicked, uncomfortable, cramped, protesting. I'm sorry, she whispered. This isn't what I wanted for us, but it's what we have. She tried to sleep. Couldn't. The air mattress was uncomfortable. Her back ached. The babies were restless. She stared at the ceiling, counted cracks, 17 visible from this angle. At 3 in the morning, sharp pain ripped through her abdomen. She gasped, clutched her belly. Not again. Please, not again. Another pain, stronger, rhythmic, 5 minutes apart. Labor, real labor, too early, 7 months. The babies weren't ready. She grabbed her phone, dialed 911 again, her voice shaking. I'm pregnant, 7 months. I'm having contractions, real ones. I need help. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics helped her down the stairs, narrow stairs, difficult to navigate. They loaded her onto a stretcher, drove to the hospital, sirens wailing. At the hospital, nurses surrounded her. IVs, monitors, oxygen, everyone moving fast, talking over her, about her. She caught fragments, premature labor. Twins at 30 weeks, stopping contractions, bed rest protocol. Dr. Wright appeared, calm, professional. Catherine, we're going to stop this. The medication is working. You are not going to deliver tonight, but you need to stay here. Complete bed rest. At least 2 weeks. The babies need more time. I can't stay here for 2 weeks. You have to prioritize these babies. Nothing else matters. If you deliver now, they'll be in the NICU for months. Complications, risks. We need to give them more time. Catherine nodded, felt tears on her face, hadn't realized she was crying. They admitted her. Private room, hospital bed, monitors strapped to her belly. She watched the screens, 2 heartbeats, Fata strong. Still there, still fighting. Dottie arrived an hour later. Hair messy, no makeup, still in pajamas under her coat. Jesus, Cat. I'm okay, they stopped it. What happened? Stress, moving, everything. My body gave up. Dottie pulled a chair close, held her hand. You're going to be okay. The babies are going to be okay. We're going to get through this. The next day, Brandon's lawyer served her, in her hospital bed, while she was on medication to stop premature labor. They walked in with papers, set them on her lap, walked out. Custody petition. Brandon was requesting full custody of the twins upon birth, claiming Catherine was financially unstable, mentally unstable, physically unstable, unfit mother. Catherine read the document. Every word a knife, every accusation a wound. She was living in a 300-square-foot apartment. True, she had no income. True, she had been hospitalized multiple times for pregnancy complications. True, she was involved in hostile litigation with the children's father. True, therefore she was unfit. Therefore he should have custody. Therefore the babies should be taken from her at birth. Catherine dropped the papers, felt the panic rising, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. The monitors beeped faster. Nurses rushed in, checked her, adjusted medication, told her to calm down. She couldn't calm down. He wanted to take her babies, before she even met them. He wanted to erase her completely. Dottie picked up the papers. Read them. Her face went red. I'm going to kill him. I'm actually going to kill him. He's going to win. Look at me. I'm exactly what he says. Unstable, broken, living in a studio, in a hospital bed at 7 months because I can't even handle stress. Stop. Stop right now. Dottie's voice was sharp. You're not unstable. You're surviving. There's a difference. Any woman would break under this pressure. You're not broken. You're human. The judge won't see it that way. We'll make sure the judge sees it clearly. Frank will fight this. I'll fight this. You're not losing your babies. A knock on the door. Frank entered. He'd heard. I'm filing an emergency response. This is harassment. Serving you in a hospital bed while you're in premature labor? No judge will look kindly on that. What if he's right? Catherine's voice was small. What if I can't take care of them? What if I'm not enough? Frank sat on the edge of her bed, looked her in the eye. Catherine, listen to me. Being poor doesn't make you a bad mother. Being stressed doesn't make you unfit. You're in this position because your husband stole from you, isolated you, destroyed your security. That's on him, not you. Any judge with half a brain will see that. But what if they don't? Then we appeal. We fight harder. We don't stop until you have your children. But what if fighting wasn't enough? What if she lost anyway? The question haunted her. That night, alone in the hospital room, Catherine had her darkest thoughts. Maybe she should give up, take the prenup settlement, disappear, let Brandon have the babies. They'd have money, stability, everything she couldn't give them. Maybe she was being selfish, fighting for them when she had nothing to offer. The monitors beeped, regular, steady, 2 heartbeats. Her babies, part of her, depending on her. She put her hands on her belly, felt them move, kick, alive, real. I can't give up on you, she whispered, even if it would be easier. Even if I'm scared, I can't give up. The babies kicked harder, like they agreed. A nurse came in, middle-aged, kind face, brought her dinner, helped her sit up. You're going through something, the nurse said. Not a question. Yes. I've been a nurse for 28 years. I've seen a lot of women in this situation. Pregnant, alone, fighting. You know what I've learned? Catherine shook her head. The women who fight are the ones who love their children most. It would be easier to give up, but you're not giving up. That means something. That means you're going to be a good mother. How do you know? Because bad mothers don't ask that question. They don't worry about being enough. You're worried. That means you care, and caring is half the battle. The nurse left. Catherine ate her dinner, tasteless hospital food, but she ate it for the babies, for strength, for survival. Days blurred together, bed rest, monitors, doctors, nurses, Dottie visiting every day. Frank calling with updates, her mother sending care packages. Small acts of love in a nightmare. 2 weeks later, Dr. Wright checked her. The contractions have stopped completely. You're stable, I'm releasing you. But you need to stay on modified bed rest at home. No stress, no lifting, no long period standing. You have to be careful. 1 more month. Just give me 1 more month. I can do that. Can you? Because the custody hearing is in 2 weeks. That's going to be stressful. I have to go. I have to fight. I know. But after that, you rest. Promise me. I promise. They discharged her. Dottie drove her to the studio apartment, helped her up the stairs. Catherine lay on the air mattress, looked around the tiny space. This was her life now. This was rock bottom. But at least she was still here, still pregnant, still fighting. She had hit bottom. Now the only direction was up. The laptop was heavy on her swollen belly. Catherine shifted on the air mattress, adjusted pillows, propped herself up. Dr. Wright said bed rest. Didn't say she couldn't work. She opened a new document, started writing. A business plan? Marketing consultation for tech startups. Her specialty. What she had done before Brandon. What she was good at before she became just his wife. The words came slowly at first. Rusty, uncertain, then faster. Ideas flowing, strategies forming. She remembered how to do this, remembered who she was. 3 hours later, she had 10 pages, a framework, a pitch, a plan. Dottie came home, brought takeout, saw the laptop. What are you doing? Working. You're supposed to be resting. I am resting, I'm lying down, but I can't just lie here and do nothing. I need to feel useful. Dottie read over her shoulder. This is good, really good. You're pitching consulting services? I have to do something. I need income. The temporary support is delayed again. Brandon's lawyers keep filing extensions. I have $40 left. I need money. Kat, you're 8 months pregnant. Who's going to hire you? Someone who needs good marketing more than they need an employee who can come to an office. I'll work remotely. I'll work around the babies. I'll make it work. She sounded more confident than she felt, but fake confidence was better than none. The next day, she started reaching out. Old contacts, people she had worked with before Brandon, professional connections she'd maintained. Weekly, sporadically, but maintained. Email after email. Hi, it's Catherine Morrison. Yes, I've been away from the industry. Yes, I'm available now for consulting work. Here's what I can do for you. Most didn't respond. Some sent polite rejections. A few that asked for more information. One said yes, Marcus Webb, venture capitalist. She'd met him 7 years ago at a conference. Smart, direct, no nonsense. He called her. Catherine, I heard about your situation. I'm sorry. Thank you. I remember your work. The campaign you did for Ashford Technologies. Best rebrand I've ever seen. You made that company. Why aren't you working? She'd answered this question before. To Dottie, to Frank, now to Marcus. Each time it hurt less, or maybe she was just numb. I gave up my career when we married. He needed support. I provided it. And now? Now I'm starting over. What do you need? The question surprised her. Most people asked what happened. Marcus asked what she needed, like the past mattered less than the future. A client, someone willing to take a chance on me, someone who needs marketing strategy and is okay with remote work and flexible hours. I have 3 companies in my portfolio that need exactly that. Send me your proposal. If it's good, I'll make introductions. If they hire you, great. If not, at least you'll have referrals. Why are you helping me? Because I've seen you work. Because talent doesn't disappear just because life gets complicated. And because Brandon Ashford is an idiot who threw away the best asset he had. They talked for 30 minutes. Marcus gave her advice, contacts, encouragement. When they hung up, Catherine felt something she hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. She polished her proposal, sent it to Marcus. He forwarded it to his portfolio companies. Within 2 days, she had 3 meetings. Video calls. Professional. Brief. The first company passed. Too risky. Too complicated. The second company wanted to think about it. The third company said yes. Small contract. $10,000 for a 3-month strategy plan. She could work remotely, deliver in phases, start immediately. Catherine cried when she got the email. $10,000. Her own money. Earned, not given, not support. Hers. She started work immediately. From bed, laptop balanced on her belly. The babies kicked while she typed, like they were helping, participating. The work was good for her. Gave her something to focus on beyond the divorce, beyond the custody hearing looming in 1 week. Beyond the fear, she delivered the first phase early. The client loved it, asked for revisions, minor tweaks. She delivered those too. They were thrilled. Marcus called. They're telling everyone about you. You're getting referrals. 2 more companies want to meet. 2 more? You're talented, Catherine. Just people notice talent. Keep doing good work. The clients will come. She took the meetings, lying in bed, professional from the chest up, sweatpants and slippers below camera range. Both companies hired her. Smaller contracts. $5,000 each, but money, income, independence. For the first time since Brandon left, she felt capable, competent, like herself. The babies were active, constantly moving, running out of room, 8 months along now. They'd come soon, ready or not. Dr. Wright cleared her for limited activity. You can go to the courthouse for the hearing, but after that, straight home. Bed rest until the delivery, no exceptions. I understand. How are you feeling? Physically? Exhausted, huge, uncomfortable. Emotionally? Catherine paused, thought about it. Better than I was. I'm working again. That helps. Feeling useful helps. Good. Keep doing that. Purpose is powerful medicine. The custody hearing was in 3 days. Frank prepared her. Practice questions. Likely attacks. Strategy. He's going to paint you as unstable. We counter with your work, your clients, your stability despite circumstances. We show that you're building something, that you're capable. What if the judge doesn't care? Then we appeal. But I think the judge will care. Judge Martinez is smart. She'll see through Brandon's tactics. The night before the hearing, Catherine couldn't sleep. Lay awake, ran through questions, answers, scenarios, every possible outcome. Best case, full custody, supervised visitation for Brandon. Support payments. Worst case, Brandon gets custody, she gets nothing. The baby's taken at birth. Middle ground, shared custody, equal time, co-parenting with a man who hated her. She didn't know which outcome to prepare for, so she prepared for all of them. Emotionally, mentally, packed a hospital bag just in case. Stress triggered labor before. Dottie found her at 2 in the morning, packing and repacking. Cat, come to bed. I need to be ready. You're ready. You've been ready. Now you need to rest. Catherine looked at her friend, exhausted, still here, still fighting for her. Thank you for everything. I don't say it enough. You don't have to say it, I know. They went to bed. Catherine finally slept. Dreamless, heavy, the sleep of the exhausted. Morning came too fast. She dressed carefully. Maternity dress, black, professional, the closest thing to armor she had. Did her makeup, not perfect, but better than nothing. Tied her hair back, looked in the mirror. She looked pregnant, scared, determined. Good enough. Frank picked them up, drove to the courthouse. The press was there again. Cameras, questions. They pushed through, into the building, up the stairs, into the courtroom. Brandon was already seated, different suit, same blank expression. Sienna was there too, looking bored, scrolling her phone. The judge entered. Court began. Brandon's lawyer went first, painted Catherine as desperate, unstable, unable to provide for the children. Showed photos of her studio apartment, 300 square feet. No nursery, No preparation. Catherine sat still, didn't react, let him talk. Then Frank stood, presented her new consulting contracts, proof of income, proof of stability, proof that she was building a career while 8 months pregnant with twins. Your Honor, my client is not unstable. She's resilient. She went from abandoned and broke to self-employed in 6 weeks, while pregnant, while fighting for her children. That's not instability. That's strength. The judge looked at Catherine. Ms. Morrison, how far along are you? 34 weeks, Your Honor. 8 months. And you're working? Yes, Your Honor. I have 3 consulting clients, marketing strategy for tech startups. How did you secure these clients? I reached out to my professional network, pitched my services, earned the contracts based on my work. While on bed rest? Yes, Your Honor, I work from home, from bed when necessary. I deliver quality work on time. My clients are happy. The judge made notes, looked at Brandon. Mr. Ashford, you're requesting full custody? Brandon stood. Yes, Your Honor, I can provide stability, financial security, everything the children need. Can you provide time, attention, love? Of course. You haven't visited your children once since the separation, correct? Silence. Mr. Ashford, the children aren't born yet, Your Honor. They exist inside your estranged wife. You could have visited her, attended doctor's appointments, shown interest. You haven't. Why should I believe you'll be present after they're born? Brandon's lawyer stood. Your Honor, the relationship between my client and Ms. Morrison is hostile. Visitation would be inappropriate. Inappropriate for your client, not for the children. Judge Martinez looked at her notes. I'm denying the custody petition. Ms. Morrison will have primary physical custody upon birth. Mr. Ashford will have supervised visitation, 2 hours per week, in a neutral location. We'll revisit this arrangement when the children are 6 months old. Brandon's face went red. His lawyer tried to object. We're not done, the judge continued. Mr. Ashford, you're also ordered to pay child support, $25,000 per month, split between household expenses and trust fund contributions for the children. First payment due within 30 days. $25,000 per month. Catherine's mind reeled. That was real money. Security. She could afford a better apartment, baby supplies, a future. Court is adjourned. The gavel cracked. Catherine sat frozen. Had she just won? Did that just happen? Frank smiled. You won. I won. You won. Dottie grabbed her hand, squeezed hard. You did it, Cat. You actually did it. They stood, filed out. The reporters were waiting. Frank handled them. Catherine said nothing, just walked. Head high, pregnant and victorious. In the parking garage, she finally let herself feel it. Relief, joy, disbelief. She had won. The babies were hers. Brandon couldn't take them. That night, back in her tiny studio, Catherine sat in the rocking chair, her hands on her belly, the babies quiet, resting after a long day. We did it, she whispered. You're mine. He can't take you. You're safe. The babies kicked, gentle, tired, content. Catherine closed her eyes. For the first time in 2 months, she felt peace. Not happiness, not yet, but peace. The immediate crisis was over. She had breathing room, time to prepare, time to heal. Tomorrow she would keep working, keep building, keep fighting. But tonight she would rest. She had earned it. The contractions started during a video call with a client. Catherine was explaining a social media strategy. Laptop propped on the new desk Dottie had helped her buy. Secondhand, stirring, hers, then pain, sharp, unmistakable. She kept talking, finished her thought. The client nodded, made notes. Didn't notice another contraction, stronger. She gripped the desk, smiled through it. Professional to the end. I'll send the full plan by email, she managed. Thursday at the latest. Perfect. Thanks, Catherine. The call ended. Catherine stood, felt wetness, looked down. Her water had broken. All over the carpet, the stained carpet in her 300-square-foot studio. Dottie! Her voice was calm, too calm, Shock, calm. Dottie emerged from the bathroom. Saw Catherine. Saw the floor. Went into crisis mode. Okay, this is happening. Hospital bag? By the door. Can you walk? I think so. They made it down the stairs, into Dottie's car. Catherine breathed through contractions. Counted. 3 minutes apart. Fast labor. The babies were coming. At the hospital, everything moved quickly. Wheelchair, triage. Labor room. Monitors strapped on. 2 heartbeats. Strong, ready. Dr. Wright checked her. You're at 6 centimeters. This is happening fast. The babies are ready. Are you ready? Do I have a choice? Not really. The next 4 hours were a blur of pain and pressure and people. Nurses, doctors, Dottie holding her hand, coaching her breathing, being the birth partner Brandon should have been. At 11:47 at night, Elijah Henry Ashford was born. 5 pounds, 4 ounces. Screaming, perfect. At 11:52, Meredith Grace Ashford followed. 4 pounds, 11 ounces, quieter than her brother. Observing. They placed both babies on Catherine's chest, skin to skin, warm, alive, hers. She looked at their faces, counted fingers, counted toes. Everything was there. Everything was perfect. Hi, babies, she whispered. I'm your mom. I have been waiting for you. Elijah wailed. Meredith blinked. Catherine cried. Dottie cried. The nurse smiled. You did it, Dottie said. They're here. They're beautiful. They're mine. They're yours. And the nurse took the babies, weighed them, measured them, cleaned them, brought them back wrapped in hospital blankets, pink and blue, cliched and perfect. Catherine tried to nurse. Elijah latched immediately. Hungry, demanding. Meredith struggled, needed help, patience. Different babies, different needs. Already their personalities showing. The night was exhausting, feeding every 2 hours, diaper changes, learning, stumbling, doing her best. Dottie stayed, helped, slept in the chair beside the hospital bed, partner in everything. Morning came. Gray light through hospital windows. The babies slept. Finally, both in their bassinets, Catherine watched them breathe, terrified they would stop. New mother paranoia, universal and overwhelming. A knock on the door. A nurse peeked in. You have a visitor. Brandon Ashford? Catherine's stomach dropped. She looked at Dottie. Do you want me to send him away? The nurse asked. Catherine thought about it. He had the right to see his children. The court order allowed supervised visitation. This could count. Let him in, but you stay in the room. The nurse nodded, opened the door wider. Brandon entered. He looked tired, uncomfortable, out of place in a hospital room full of babies and breast pumps and postpartum reality. Catherine. His voice was formal, distant. Brandon. He looked at the bassinets, approached slowly, looked at the babies. His face was unreadable. They're small, he said. They're premature, 36 weeks, but healthy. And which is which? Elijah is in blue, Meredith is in pink. He stood there, looked at them, didn't touch, didn't smile, just observed, like they were exhibits, curiosities, not his children. After 2 minutes, he stepped back. I'll have my lawyer arrange the visitation schedule. You're leaving? I came to see them. I saw them. That's what the court ordered. Brandon, they're your children. Don't you want to hold them? Not yet. Not yet. Maybe never. Catherine saw it on his face. The discomfort, the distance. These babies were obligations, inconveniences. They weren't real to him. Goodbye, Catherine. Congratulations. He left, walked out, didn't look back. The nurse looked at Catherine, pity in her eyes. Are you okay? I'm fine. I knew who he was. This just confirms it. But she wasn't fine. Seeing him reject his own children hurt in ways she hadn't expected. Not for herself, for them. They deserved better. They deserved a father who loved them, who wanted them. Instead, they had Brandon. Dottie came to her side. You're enough. You know that, right? One good parent is better than 2 bad ones. You're enough. Catherine nodded, wanted to believe it, tried to believe it. They discharged her the next day. Too soon. But insurance didn't cover longer stays for uncomplicated births. Twin babies were considered uncomplicated. Medical miracle, really. Dottie drove them home. Babies in car seats. Borrowed from a friend. Catherine sat in back between them. Watched them. Terrified the whole drive. What if they stopped breathing? What if she did something wrong? The studio apartment looked smaller with 3 people. 2 bassinets barely fit. Dottie had helped set up a changing station on the desk. Catherine's workspace was now diaper storage. The first night alone with the babies was the longest of her life. Elijah cried constantly. Meredith cried when Elijah cried. Catherine fed them, changed them, rocked them, sang to them. Nothing worked for long. At 3 in the morning, she sat on the floor between the bassinets, both babies wailing. She was crying too, exhausted, overwhelmed, covered in spit up. I don't know what I'm doing, she sobbed. I don't know how to help you. She tried feeding again. Elijah latched. Meredith refused. She tried switching. Meredith latched. Elijah screamed. She couldn't feed both at once, only had 2 hands, 2 breasts, 2 babies who needed her simultaneously. Finally, at 4 in the morning, both babies fell asleep. She laid them in their bassinets, collapsed on the air mattress, slept for 37 minutes. Then Elijah woke up hungry. The cycle repeated, day after day, night after night. Catherine learned, slowly, painfully, how to tandem nurse, how to function on no sleep, how to change diapers while half asleep, how to survive. Dottie came every day after work, brought food, held babies, let Catherine shower, sleep, exist as something other than a milk machine. Her mother came on weekends, held Elijah while Catherine nursed Meredith, told her stories about raising Catherine alone. You're doing great, better than I did. You had 1 baby, I have 2. And you're handling it? That's what mothers do. We handle it. Marcus called to check on her, asked about the babies, asked about work. I can't work right now. I'm barely surviving. That's okay. Your clients understand. They'll wait. Take care of yourself and those babies. The work will be there when you're ready. 3 weeks postpartum, Catherine tried on her pre-pregnancy jeans. They didn't fit, not even close. She looked at herself in the mirror, soft belly, stretch marks, breasts enormous and leaking, hair limp, face exhausted. She looked like she'd been through war. She felt like it too. She sat on the floor, held the jeans, started crying, for no reason, for every reason. Postpartum hormones and sleep deprivation and grief for her old body. Then Meredith started crying. Then Elijah. Duty called. Catherine threw the jeans in the trash, put on stretchy pants, fed her babies, moved on. Small acceptance. She was different now. Her body was different. Her life was different, and mourning the old version was useless. This was who she was now. At 6 weeks postpartum, she went back to work. Limited hours, during naps, during the 3-hour window when Dottie took the babies so Catherine could function. She finished projects, delivered work. Her clients were understanding, grateful, referred her to others. Money started coming in, real money. Between child support payments and consulting income, she had enough to move, to find something bigger. With a bedroom, a nursery, she found a 2-bedroom apartment, small but clean. $900 a month, affordable with her new income. Safe neighborhood, good schools eventually, room to grow. They moved when the twins were 2 months old. Catherine packed everything, hired movers for the furniture, the rocking chair, the bassinets, the desk. The new apartment felt enormous after the studio. The babies had their own room. She had a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen with a real stove. She set up the nursery, pink and orange, the colors she'd imagined months ago. Soft, gentle, safe. She hung photos, organized clothes, made it home. That night she stood in the doorway, watched the twins sleep, side by side, breathing, peaceful. They had come so far, all 3 of them. Her phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. I have a proposition for you. Call me when you have time. She called the next day, during nap time, her only free window. Catherine, how are you? Exhausted, but managing. Good. I want to talk about your consulting work. You have impressed every client I've sent you. They're all asking for more, extended contracts, new projects. That's great. It's more than great. You're building a reputation. I think you should formalize it. Start a company, LLC, business entity. Position yourself as an agency, not just a consultant. I can't run an agency. I have 2-month-old twins. You're already doing the work. This is just making it official, professional. It opens doors, bigger clients, bigger contracts, real money. Catherine thought about it. An agency, her own company. It felt impossible. She could barely brush her teeth most days. But also, she was good at this. Clients loved her work. What if she could scale it? Hire help eventually? Build something real? What would I need to do? File the paperwork, set up a business account, build a website. I can help. I can connect you with lawyers, accountants, designers. You focus on the work. Let professionals handle the logistics. Why are you doing this? Because I see potential, because you're talented, because helping people succeed is what I do, and because I believe in you. She made the decision. Okay, let's do it. They spent the next month building her company, Morrison Marketing Group, professional, legitimate, hers. Marcus connected her with a lawyer who handled the LLC filing, an accountant who set up her books, a designer who built her website, all at discounted rates. Marcus called in favors, made it possible. The website launched when the twins were 3 months old. Simple, clean, professional. Her credentials, her portfolio, testimonials from satisfied clients. She shared it on LinkedIn. Old contacts reached out. Congratulations. Questions. New business inquiries. Within 2 weeks, she had 4 new clients. Within a month, 8. She was turning down work. Couldn't handle the volume. You need to hire someone, Marcus said. An assistant, part-time, someone to handle admin work while you focus on strategy. I can't afford to hire anyone. Yes, you can. Your revenue is $60,000 this quarter, projected $100,000 next quarter. You can afford an assistant. She hired a college student, remote work, 20 hours a week, social media management, client communication, basic tasks that freed Catherine to focus on creative work. It worked. She delivered better work faster. Clients were thrilled, referred others. The cycle continued. 6 months after the twins were born, Morrison Marketing Group had 15 clients. Annual revenue projected at $400,000. Catherine was working 40 hours a week from home, nursing babies during conference calls, changing diapers between deliverables. It was chaos, exhausting, overwhelming, and hers, completely hers. She was building something real. Brandon's supervised visitation happened every Sunday, 2 hours at a family center. A social worker observed, took notes, reported back to the court. Brandon was awkward with the babies, held them stiffly, didn't know how to soothe them, looked relieved when the 2 hours ended. After 3 months, he filed to reduce visitation, claimed it was too difficult, too time-consuming, too disruptive to his schedule. The court denied his request, maintained the schedule. He was a father whether he liked it or not. Catherine felt nothing about it, no anger, no satisfaction, just indifference. Brandon was irrelevant to her life now. He provided money. That was the extent of his contribution. The twins were 7 months old when Frank called. The forensic audit is complete. You need to see this. She went to his office, brought the twins, Elijah in a carrier on her chest, Meredith in a stroller, her new normal, babies everywhere, all the time. Frank spread documents across his conference table, highlighted sections, numbers, transactions. Brandon had embezzled over $900,000 from the company over 2 years, most of it in the last 18 months. Sienna's salary, her apartment, trips, gifts, shopping sprees, all company money. $900,000? The board is filing criminal charges. Fraud, embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty. He could face prison time. Prison. Catherine tried to process it. Brandon in prison, the father of her children, a criminal. What does this mean for the divorce? It means the prenup is void. It means everything is community property. It means you're entitled to half of everything, the house he sold, the cars, the investments, everything, half of everything. which was now significantly less because Brandon had stolen from his own company. How much is left? After paying back what he stole, his net worth is approximately $3 million. You're entitled to $1.5 million, plus child support, plus the trust funds for the twins. $1.5 million. She had started with nothing, would end with millions. Not because she won the lottery, because she fought, because Brandon destroyed himself, because justice sometimes worked. When? She asked. Trial is scheduled for 6 months from now. But his lawyers are pushing for settlement. They know he'll lose. They want to avoid trial, avoid publicity, avoid prison. What do you recommend? We negotiate, push for maximum settlement, enough to secure your future in the twins. Make him pay for what he did. They negotiated for 3 months, back and forth, offers and counteroffers. Catherine's demands were simple. Enough to buy a house, enough for college funds, enough to never worry about money again. They settled for $2 million. Cash payment, no prenup restrictions, no gag order. She could talk about what happened if she wanted. She didn't want to. She wanted to move on. The final hearing was brief, 10 minutes. Judge Martinez approved the settlement, declared the marriage dissolved. Catherine Morrison was single again, free, starting over. Outside the courthouse, no cameras this time, no reporters. The story was old news. The public had moved on. Catherine stood on the steps, held her babies, Dottie beside her, Frank behind her. She looked at the sky, clear, blue, beautiful. How do you feel? Dottie asked. Tired, relieved, ready. Ready for what? Whatever comes next. 18 months after Brandon left, Catherine bought a house. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, small yard, good neighborhood, good schools. Nothing like the mansion she'd lived in with Brandon. But hers, actually hers. Her name on the deed, her mortgage, her choice. The twins were 14 months old, walking, talking. Elijah said mama constantly. Meredith was quieter, observed more, said no with conviction. Catherine worked from home. Morrison Marketing Group had grown, 25 clients now, 3 employees, annual revenue approaching $1 million. She'd made Forbes's 30 under 30 list for self-made women entrepreneurs. The irony wasn't lost on her. Brandon's company had collapsed. The fraud investigation revealed more theft, more lies. Roger bought out Brandon's shares for pennies on the dollar. Reformed the company, cut ties completely. Brandon was under indictment. Criminal charges, facing 5 to 10 years if convicted. His lawyers were fighting, delaying, but the evidence was overwhelming. Sienna had left him a year ago, moved on to a tech CEO in Miami. Her Instagram's still thriving, 250,000 followers now. She posted bikini photos and product placements. Seemed happy, seemed unbothered. The world moved on. Catherine focused on her life, her children, her work. She hired a nanny, part-time, 4 hours a day, enough to work focused hours, enough to maintain sanity. Her mother visited weekly, played with the twins, brought groceries, told Catherine she was proud. You built a good life, a real life. Dottie was her business partner now. 20% stake in Morrison Marketing Group, official COO, managing operations while Catherine focused on strategy and clients. We're going to hit 7 figures this year, Dottie said over coffee. The twins played in bare feet, blocks, toys, chaos. I can't believe it sometimes. A year and a half ago, I was broke in a studio. Now I own a house, a company, a life. You earned it. We earned it. I couldn't have done this without you. Yeah, you could have. You're stronger than you know. Maybe. Catherine still didn't feel strong. She felt tired, constantly tired, but functional, successful, happy even. The twins started daycare 3 mornings a week. Catherine worked those hours, then picked them up, played, fed them, put them to bed, worked more after they slept. The rhythm was exhausting but sustainable. At night, sometimes she lay awake, thought about Brandon, about the marriage, about who she'd been. She didn't miss him. She missed the innocence, the belief that marriage was forever, that love was enough, that people didn't just leave, But she'd learned. People did leave. Love wasn't enough. Forever was a lie, and that was okay. She'd survived. Thrived even. Marcus called every few weeks, checked in, offered advice. You should think about expanding, hiring more staff, scaling up. You're leaving money on the table. I know, but I'm also a single mother of twins. There's only so much I can handle. Fair, but think about it. You've built something valuable. Don't limit yourself out of fear. She did think about it. Thought about what she wanted, not just for herself, for her children. What example was she setting? Limit herself or reach higher? She decided to reach. She hired 2 more strategists, experienced marketers who could handle client work independently. She moved from doing everything to managing everything, harder than she expected. Letting go felt like losing control. But the company grew. 50 clients, annual revenue projected at $2 million. She was building something real, something that could last. The divorce trial would have been scheduled for this month, but the settlement had eliminated the need. No trial, no public spectacle, just quiet resolution. Catherine got a text from Frank. Brandon's criminal trial starts next week. Press will likely contact you for comment. Thought you should know. She didn't want to comment, didn't want to be part of that story anymore. She'd moved on, but reporters called anyway. Emails, messages. Catherine Morrison, the ex-wife who brought down a tech CEO, from abandoned to entrepreneur. How one woman's revenge built an empire. She ignored them all, issued a statement through Frank. I'm focused on my children and my business. I have no comment on Mr. Ashford's legal troubles. The trial lasted 2 weeks. Catherine didn't follow it, didn't read articles, didn't watch news. She worked, played with her babies, lived her life. The verdict came on a Thursday. Guilty on all counts. Brandon was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison, ordered to pay back the embezzled funds, fined, destroyed. Catherine felt nothing, not vindication, not satisfaction, just emptiness. He'd destroyed himself. She'd just been collateral damage. That evening she sat with the twins, read books, played blocks. Meredith climbed into her lap. Elijah brought her his favorite toy. Simple moments. Perfect moments. Your daddy made bad choices, she said softly. Not sure if they understood. Not sure it mattered. But you're going to grow up knowing how to make good ones, I promise, Elijah laughed. Meredith kissed her cheek. Children didn't understand betrayal yet, didn't understand loss. They just knew love. Stability, safety. That was enough. Constance had called a few weeks ago, asked to meet. Catherine almost said no. Almost, but Constance had helped, had given her information, had chosen the babies over Brandon. That meant something. They met at a coffee shop. Constance looked older, tired. The trial had aged her. I'm sorry, Constance said, for everything, for not stopping him years ago, for enabling him, for the woman he became. He made his choices. You can't control that. I could have tried. I should have tried. Constance pushed an envelope across the table. This is information about the trust fund, Robert's trust for the twins. As trustee, I want you to have full access, full transparency. I've also added provisions for educational expenses, medical, whatever they need. Catherine opened the envelope, documents, account statements, $5 million per child, more than she thought. This is too much. It's what Robert wanted, what I want. I can't give them their father. He's gone to prison. But I can give them this, financial security, legacy, something good from this family. Will you see them, the twins, be their grandmother? Constance's eyes watered. If you'll let me, I don't deserve it. But I'd like to try. Catherine thought about it, about family, about what the twins deserved. They deserved to know their grandmother, the good parts of their father's family. Sunday afternoons, once a month. We'll start there, see how it goes. Constance nodded, grateful, relieved. Thank you. They talked for an hour about the twins, about Constance's late husband, about building something good from the wreckage. It wasn't forgiveness exactly, but it was something, a start. That Sunday, Constance came to Catherine's house, brought toys, age-appropriate, safe. She played with Elijah and Meredith, gentle, patient, grandmother energy. She read them books, made them laugh. When she left, she had photos, memories, a place in their lives. She's good with them, Dottie observed. She is, not what I expected. People surprise you sometimes, for better. Catherine's business continued growing. She was approached by a larger firm, acquisition offer. They wanted to buy Morrison Marketing Group, $5 million, keep her on as CEO, scale nationally. She thought about it, talked to Marcus, to Dottie, no, to her accountant, $5 million, life-changing money, security forever, but also losing independence, answering to investors, boards, corporate structure. She declined, not yet. She wasn't ready to give up control. She'd worked too hard to build this. She'd reconsider in a few years, but not now. Instead, she expanded carefully, hired strategically, kept her independence, built her vision. The twins turned 2, birthday party in their backyard, small, intimate, family and close friends. Dottie, her mother, Constance, Marcus, Roger, the people who had stood by her. No press, no cameras, just cake and laughter and children playing. Elijah and Meredith smashed cake into their faces. Catherine took hundreds of photos, moments she'd treasure. Vivian pulled her aside. You did it, Catherine. You built a real life. I'm so proud. I was terrified, Mom. That whole first year, I didn't think I'd make it. But you did. You're stronger than you thought. I had help. Lots of help. Strong people ask for help. Weak people don't. You asked. That's strength. That night, after everyone left, Catherine cleaned up. The twins asleep upstairs. House quiet. She threw away paper plates, swept up cake crumbs, normal domestic tasks that felt meaningful. This was her life, her home, her family. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. She almost ignored it, then saw the preview. Catherine, it's Brandon. She stared at the message. He wasn't supposed to contact her. Court order prohibited direct communication. Everything went through lawyers. She opened it anyway. I know I'm not supposed to text you, but I wanted to say something before I go to prison. You were right about everything. I destroyed us. I destroyed myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know I'm sorry for what I did to you, for abandoning our children, for being the villain in this story. You built something beautiful from the wreckage I left. The twins are lucky to have you. I hope someday they know their father was an idiot who lost everything that mattered. I'm sorry, Catherine, for all of it. She read it 3 times, felt nothing. The apology was 2 years too late. The acknowledgement meaningless now. He was sorry because he lost, not because he hurt her. She deleted the message, blocked the number, moved on. Upstairs, she checked on the twins, both sleeping peacefully. Elijah on his back, arms spread wide, taking up space. Meredith curled on her side, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Different children, different needs, perfect as they were. Catherine stood in the doorway, watched them breathe. These babies had saved her, given her purpose when she had none, given her strength when she thought she was weak, given her a reason to fight when giving up seemed easier. She'd built a life for them, a company for them, a future for them. Not Brandon's children, hers, completely hers. Thank you, she whispered to them, for making me a mother, for giving me a reason, for being mine. Tomorrow she had meetings, clients, deadlines. The chaos would continue. But tonight she had peace, the kind of peace that comes from surviving hell and finding yourself on the other side. Stronger, better, whole. She'd lost a marriage, found herself, lost security, built her own, lost faith in love, found faith in her own strength. The trade was worth it. 3 years later, Catherine stood on stage at the NASDAQ. Bell in hand, Morrison Marketing Group was going public. IPO day, the culmination of 5 years of work, of building, of fighting, of refusing to disappear. The twins stood beside her, 4 years old now. Elijah in a tiny suit, Meredith in a pink dress she'd insisted on, both confused about why they were here but excited by the cameras. Dottie stood behind them, COO, 20% owner, best friend, sister in every way that mattered. Marcus was in the front row, investor, advisor, the man who had believed in her when she was broke in a hospital bed. Her mother was there too, Vivian Morrison, 63 now, gray hair, proud smile, the woman who had shown Catherine what strength looked like. Even Constance had come, grandmother, Allie, the woman who had chosen right over easy, who visited every Sunday, who loved Elijah and Meredith fiercely. The countdown started. 10, 9, 8. Catherine thought about the journey, the suitcases by the door, the frozen bank accounts, the studio apartment, the hospital bed, the custody fight, the fear, the darkness, the moment she almost gave up. 7, 6, few one. She thought about the small victories, the first client, the first employee, the first profit. Building something real from nothing, proving everyone wrong, proving herself right. 4, 3, 2. She looked at her children, the reason for everything, the babies who had been weapons in Brandon's hands. Now they were heirs to an empire. Not his empire, hers. 1. She rang the bell. The trading floor erupted. Applause. Cheers. Morrison Marketing Group's stock price appeared on the screen, opening at $32 per share. Her company was valued at $870 million. Her personal net worth, $435 million. She was a billionaire, self-made, self-built, self-proved. The twins clapped because everyone else was clapping. Elijah hugged her leg. Meredith reached for her hand. Catherine picked them both up, held them close. This moment, this victory, this life. What does this mean, Mama? Meredith asked. It means we worked hard, and hard work matters. Are we rich now? Elijah asked. We're secure now. That's better than rich. Interviews followed. Forbes, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal. Everyone wanted the story. Abandoned pregnant wife becomes tech mogul. Revenge narrative. Underdog story. Catherine gave them a different narrative. This isn't about revenge. It's about resilience. It's about refusing to let someone else's choices define you. It's about building something meaningful from wreckage. I didn't do this to hurt anyone. I did it to save myself and my children. The reporters ate it up, wrote profiles, think pieces. Catherine Morrison, the billion-dollar comeback. How one woman turned betrayal into empire. The CEO who built success from nothing. She read them, felt odd seeing her life reduced to headlines, but also validated. She'd done it, actually done it. The impossible thing, the thing that seemed unreachable in the studio apartment, the thing she'd been too afraid to dream about in the hospital bed. She'd built an empire, on her terms, with her values, her vision. A week after the IPO, she bought a new house, bigger, better, 5 bedrooms, pool, guest house for Dottie, room for her mother to visit, space for the twins to grow, space for her to breathe. She decorated it herself, no designer, just her taste, her choices, photos of the twins on every wall, art she loved, furniture that was comfortable instead of impressive, a home, not a showpiece, a place to live, to laugh, to be happy. The nursery she'd imagined 4 years ago finally existed, pink and orange, soft, safe, perfect. The twins had outgrown cribs, but she kept the colors, kept the vision, kept the promise she'd made to them before they were born. Brandon was released from prison after serving 4 years, reduced sentence for good behavior. He moved to Portland, took a job in tech, middle management. Nobody. He saw the twins once a year, supervised, awkward. He tried, but he didn't know them, didn't know their favorite foods, their fears, their dreams. He was a stranger who shared DNA. The twins called him Brandon, not Dad, not Daddy, just Brandon. The man who came to visit sometimes, who brought toys that didn't match their interests, who tried too hard and failed anyway. After visits, Elijah would ask, "Why doesn't Brandon know us?" Catherine would say, "Because he wasn't around. Family is the people who show up every day, not just sometimes." "You show up every day, Mama." "Yes, I do, because I love you, because you're mine, because showing up is what parents do." Simple truth, a complex pain. But the twins understood. They had grandmothers who showed up, an Aunt Dottie who showed up, Uncle Marcus who showed up, Uncle Roger who showed up. Family wasn't blood, it was choice, presence, love. Morrison Marketing Group continued growing, acquired two smaller agencies, expanded to New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, national presence, 200 employees, annual revenue, 200 million. Catherine's net worth topped 900 million. Forbes ran another profile. Tech's newest billionaire. The cover photo showed her in her office. Professional, powerful. The twins' photos visible in the background. Mother, CEO, both unapologetically. The article interviewed her clients, her employees. They all said the same thing. She was brilliant, demanding, fair. She'd built a company culture that valued work-life balance, parental leave, flexibility. She'd built the company she wished had existed when she was pregnant and desperate. Dottie was interviewed too. Catherine is the strongest person I know, not because she doesn't break, but because she breaks and rebuilds. Every time, better than before. On the twins' 5th birthday, Catherine threw a party, bigger than before, their friends from school, neighborhood kids, chaos, joy, laughter. She stood in the backyard, watched children play, watched her children play. Elijah was bossy, leader energy, organizing games. Meredith was quieter, observant, making sure everyone was included. Different children, different strengths, both perfect. Vivian joined her. You did good, Catherine, really good. I had help. We all need help. But you did the work. You built this life. You raised these children. You became this woman. That's you, not anyone else. Catherine thought about who she'd been. 32, pregnant, abandoned, terrified. She thought her life was over. Thought she'd lost everything. She'd lost Brandon, found herself, lost security, built her own, lost illusions, gained reality. The trade had been worth it. Mom, do you think I would have built the company if Brandon hadn't left? Vivian considered. No, I think you would have stayed small, supporting him, comfortable, safe. You needed the push, the crisis. As horrible as it was, it woke you up. That's sad. That's life. Sometimes we need to break before we know how to build. That evening, after everyone left, Catherine cleaned up. The twins helped. Elijah threw away plates. Meredith collected cups. They worked together. Team, family. Mama, are we rich? Meredith asked. The question again. Yes, sweetheart. We're financially comfortable. Is that because of Brandon? Elijah asked. No, it's because of Mama. I built a company. I worked hard. I earned money. Brandon has nothing to do with our success. Good, Elijah said firmly, because he's not very nice. He's trying in his own way, but no, he didn't help us. We helped ourselves. With Aunt Dottie, Meredith added. Yes, with Aunt Dottie and Grandma Vivian and Grandma Constance and Uncle Marcus, family helped family. We're lucky, Elijah said. Yes, we're very lucky. That night after the twins were asleep, Catherine sat in her home office, looked at her computer, the company website, the Forbes cover framed on the wall, photos of her children everywhere. She'd done it, the impossible thing, built a billion-dollar company, raised two healthy children, created a life worth living, not despite Brandon leaving, because of it. If he hadn't left, she'd still be comfortable, complacent, supporting his dreams instead of building her own. She'd be the wife, not the CEO, not the mother who fought, not the woman who refused to disappear. His betrayal had freed her. His cruelty had forged her. His absence had made space for her to become who she was always meant to be. She didn't thank him, didn't credit him. He'd been the villain. She'd been the hero. That was the truth. But she acknowledged it. The pain had purpose. The suffering had shaped her. The darkest moments had revealed her strength. She opened a new document, started writing. Not a business plan, a letter to her children. For when they were older, for when they could understand. Dear Elijah and Meredith, By the time you read this, you'll be adults. You'll know the story, how your father left, how we struggled, how we built something from nothing. You'll have questions. I want to answer them now. Yes, I was devastated. Yes, I was terrified. Yes, I thought about giving up. But I looked at you, growing inside me, depending on me, and I realized I couldn't give up. You needed me to be strong, so I became strong. For you, because of you. Your father made a choice. He chose to leave. He chose easy over hard, new over real. He chose himself. That was his right, but it was also his loss. He lost us, the best things he could have been part of. He lost watching you grow, hearing your first words, seeing your first steps. He lost being your father in any meaningful way. I don't hate him. I feel nothing for him. He's irrelevant to our lives. He provides money. That's it. You're not his children in any way that matters. You're mine. You're ours. You're the family we chose and built together. I built Morrison Marketing Group for you, so you'd never depend on anyone, so you'd know that starting over is possible, that being left doesn't mean being less, that women can build empires alone, that mothers can be both soft and strong, that we don't need saving. We can save ourselves, you're billionaire heirs, but not because you inherited money, because you inherit a legacy, a story, a lesson. That resilience matters, that character matters, that showing up every day matters, that love is action, not words. I'm proud of you, before you've even done anything, because you're mine, because I fought for you, because you're the reason I became who I am. Never let anyone make you feel small. Never let anyone define you. Never let anyone's choices limit yours. You're Morrison children. Strong, capable, loved. That's your inheritance. Use it well. Love always, Mama. She saved the document, dated it, filed it. Someday they'd read it. Someday they'd understand. For now, they were children, safe, happy, loved. That was enough. Catherine stood, stretched, walked to the window. The city lights spread below. Endless possibilities, endless futures. She'd come so far. From that studio apartment to this house, from broke to billionaire, from victim to victor. She'd written her own ending, not the ending Brandon intended, not the ending anyone expected, the ending she earned, through blood and sweat and tears and determination, through refusing to disappear, through fighting every single day. The story people told was revenge. Woman scorned, gold digger wins. But that wasn't her story. Her story was resurrection. Phoenix from ashes. Woman finds herself. Woman builds empire. Woman wins. Not against Brandon and against fear, against doubt, against the voice that said she wasn't enough, against everyone who expected her to fail. She'd proved them all wrong, including herself. Tomorrow she had meetings, investors, strategy sessions. The work continued, but tonight she had peace, satisfaction, joy, the kind of joy that comes from knowing you survived. You thrived, you won. Elijah and Meredith would grow up knowing their mother was strong. That strength looked like showing up, like doing hard things, like building something meaningful. They'd inherit money, but more importantly, they'd inherit the lesson, the truth, the story. You can lose everything and build it back better. You can be broken and become whole. You can be left and choose not to leave yourself. That was Catherine's legacy, not the money, not the company, the lesson, the truth. The proof that women don't need saving. They need space to save themselves, and when they do, they don't just survive. They soar. Catherine Morrison turned off the lights, walked upstairs, checked on her sleeping children one last time, kissed their foreheads, whispered, "I love you. You're mine. We're going to be okay. Better than okay. We're going to be extraordinary." She went to her own room, her own bed, comfortable, safe, hers. She lay down, closed her eyes, smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, new victories, but tonight she could rest. She'd earned it. She'd won. Not just the divorce, not just the money, the war, the battle for herself, the fight to become who she was always meant to be. Catherine Morrison, survivor, fighter, mother, CEO, billionaire, Victor, her. And that was enough. More than enough. Everything. Catherine's story proves that being left isn't the end. It's sometimes the beginning. If her journey inspired you, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment telling me what part resonated most. And subscribe, because every week I bring you stories of people who fought back and won. See you in the next one.